Yo, what's happening, everybody? Gonna make this video out for you guys that are young. You guys want to buy your first car, you guys want to buy your second car, maybe that's a sports car, and you guys want to buy really any car. I'm at the airport right now. This is me buying my ZL1 video going on, but I'm gonna stop half that video and I'm gonna explain to you guys what I do when I go buy a car and the negotiation skills that it takes. It's honestly not that difficult, and I want you guys to be in a better position than people with negative equity on a car. So give me a little bit. I'm gonna cut to the scene and I'm gonna get to a seat over here at the airport and find somewhere to start explaining this to you guys. Okay, I found somewhere I can sit privately and talk without a bunch of people awkwardly staring at me, even though people are still walking by staring at me. So here it is. Buying a car. It depends if you're buying new or used. New cars are a little bit tougher to buy, actually a lot tougher to buy, because when a manufacturer gives a car out to put it for sale, there's not that much wiggle room in negotiation. So you have to basically determine if you're getting a new car or used car. Used cars are a lot easier. Let's say you're buying a used car. I'll give you my car for say that I'm going to look at to buy. The car I was looking at to buy, I try to figure out the value of the car. So if I was you and you're looking at a few cars to buy, get the Carfax app, check the Carfax, look at values. If you like a car and you want to see the value of it, check it out. Let's say a car's value, there's two different values. There's a trade-in value and there's a retail value. Obviously the values vary by, depending on how expensive the car is, a couple $1,000s to a couple $100. Some cars like supercars could vary to $10,000 in value. You're looking at a car and the retail value is, let's say, $60,000 and the trade-in value is $55,000, which is a very small gap. Usually there's a larger gap within about $5,000 to $20,000 gap. About 5 to 20. I mean, it could be a cheaper car, about $5,000 car. It'd be a couple $100 to $2,000. But let's say you're buying something that like I said, $60,000, trade-in's $55,000, or even let's say $52,000 trade-in value, because it varies. You want to buy the car closer to trade-in value, because let's say for any instance you want to sell the car, you want to get rid of it, people are going to look at the value of it, especially considering the car you're going to have it for however many years you're going to have it for. You're going to put miles on it, you're going to put wear and tear, you're going to, the car's going to age, normally like it normally does. If it's like a 2018, it's going to age to a 2015, depending on how many years it takes, like how many years you keep it for. Another thing is, like I said, you want to get that trade-in value. So if you're going to look at the car and someone has it listed for $62,000 and you have the car and its trade-in value is $52,000, that's a $10,000 difference. Yeah, there could be cars, for instance, my GTR has about $120,000 in added modifications. Yes, it does add value. Not always, but I like to say about half to a third, depending on the vehicle. A lot of vehicle modifications are appearance-wise. I don't put a huge value on that. I put a huge value on modifications because it does performance, and those parts are usually worth value. Yeah, you can put a value on extra tires and wheels, but not much. So that could actually raise the price of a car. So if you're looking at the car's value and it says it's $62,000, but the value is around 60 or 58 to 60, and they're not going to give you a range. So let's say one app like Kelley Blue Book will tell you 60,000. Another app will tell you 58, and another app will tell you 63. You got to vary in between that. That's for retail value. But I like to buy most of my cars that aren't highly modified at trade-in value, because if I ever want to get rid of the car, I'm not going to lose that much money on it. I actually talked to one of my buddies last night, and he told me that a car he was looking at was he sent it to me, and it was at the high retail value on it was $24,000, and the trade-in value was $17,000. And he said he wanted to buy the car for $24,000, and he told me it was a clean car. I'm like, okay, it's a clean car, but you're gonna buy a car at the top retail value. When you go to sell the car, and I know you're not gonna have it for that many years, you're not gonna want it no more. So when you don't want it no more, you're stuck with that car, because the dealership is gonna offer you 17 or 16, 15, or even whatever they want to offer you, because they have the option to offer you whatever they want. And it's not financially the best decision. A lot of, I made another video on interest rates and getting a bank loan and all that, but I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about that in this video. So that's that. I mean, try to get the car closer to trade-in value. If you can't get it, look for another car. Me personally, I look for cars that have, more car for the money. I was looking at actually a ZL1 that this one is actually super clean, low miles, the one I'm actually buying, which this video should be out after I buy it, if I do buy it, which I should. A lot of the cars I look at are clean, but I was looking at a car about a fifth cheaper of the price of this ZL1, a fifth of the price cheaper, so it's a huge cut. But it was in a major accident. It wasn't a salvage title, it was a clean title car, but it was in a large accident, and the Carfax stated that. The Carfax also, adjusted the price according to that, which you got to be careful. You got to make sure you adjust the price if there's any accidents, any extra owners on the title, anything like that. By the title, I mean you check the Carfax and you see all the documents that the car has been registered at oil changes, dealerships, anywhere from auctions to, accidents to how many owners, what states, how many miles, everything like that's shown on the Carfax, which is very important. And this is not sponsored by Carfax. So here's the kicker. Here's my favorite part about buying cars and the fun part about it. I'm not a huge gambler, but I do like playing with money, and I do obviously like, spending money. So when I buy cars, even if I'm not pressure to buy a car, I'm not in the I want to buy a car that hard. If I find a good deal on a car, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna enjoy it and I'm gonna sell it. So there's nothing wrong with making an offer on a car as long as you do it in a respectful way. Like, don't offer somebody something astronomically cheaper than their car. If someone's listing their car for $20,000, don't offer them 12. It's not gonna work. You can ask them, like, for instance, what I do is I ask them, hey, listen, I don't believe the value is there for the car. Are you open to offers? And if they say, even that's kind of rude, you can just say, hey, are you open to offers? And if they say yes, you can make an offer. And if they say no, they say no. But I like to explain the reason of my offering. So if I offer, $15,000 on a car that's listed for 20, I'll be like, hey, listen, other cars in the same value are listed for, $15,000, and this car is, $20,000, what makes it worth that much? And usually they don't have an explanation because there's no reason it's worth that much more. But some people just don't want to sell their cars for cheaper. Like, my Nissan GTR, it's one of the better Nissan GTRs that are built out there. I'm not gonna let it go for cheap because it's a well-built car. There's cheaper builds out there. There's cheaper cars out there that have damage or, are driven harder, and people know that, and it shows the wear, and they have it listed, for cheaper. But some people list their cars, at retail value or higher, because of the condition they have it in. For instance, my car. It doesn't hurt to make an offer, like I said. Just be respectful about it. If someone says no, don't pressure them, don't be rude to them. There's so many cars out there, so make an offer on a car. There's another thing. There's a couple different reasons why someone would be selling a car. People sell cars because, number one, financially they can't afford it. Number two is they have other assets, or they have to get approved for other assets. For instance, they can't afford to pay for a car and pay for something else. For instance, a house, a boat, a student loan. So there's those two reasons. Number one, they can't afford it. Number two, they have other things they same thing, can't afford it. Another reason they sell cars, for instance, me, is they want something different, or they just don't like the car, or too many tickets. I mean, there's plenty of different options. Most of the time when someone's trying to sell a car, 90% of the time they want to sell the car because they wouldn't post a car for sale if they don't want to sell it. 10% of the time they'll have it listed for high, and if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. The 90% of the people that want to sell their cars is the good thing for you, because they want to sell their cars and you want to buy a car. And hopefully it's the same car you want to buy. Obviously you're looking for that specific car. There's car gurus, there's cars.com, there's Facebook Marketplace, there's Craigslist, there's I think Carfax actually shows cars for sale. CarMax. There's a bunch of different places. You can just go to a car lot. Usually I buy cars private parties because that's where that's where you were able to get the deal. You can still buy used cars from car lots, but they mark them as the retail value. Like I was telling you, trade-in value. Try to get it closer to trade-in value. Even if you can't get exactly to it, I try to at least majority to trade-in value. It's rare, it's hard to do. Not a lot of people can do it, and not a lot of people can negotiate. When I was looking for my ZL1, I actually went through about 6 of them. I actually negotiated with people. Yeah, I'm not trying to be considered the window shopper. Obviously, I found a car I wanted and I bought it, but the fact of it being is I'm not going to, when I make an offer, I make a firm offer. I'll move my offer by maybe $500 or $1,000 if I really want it, but if not, I won't. I made firm offers to a bunch of people. This guy I actually made an offer to, I moved a couple $1,000s up on it than I was at. But the car I'm getting is basically at trade-in value, so I'm getting a pretty good deal on it. No, when I sell it, I'm not gonna sell it at trade-in value. I'm gonna sell it a little bit higher. I'm gonna try to get more for it, try to break even on it. But the fact of it being is make an offer to people. The thing I like to do is ask them why they're selling it. The biggest thing is you want to study the person. You want to get to know them. You want to see why they're selling the car, why they want to get rid of it. You can say, hey, what's your best cheapest price on the car, but people that ask that usually aren't that interested. And as a seller of cars, I don't really pursue people as much or respond to them as much when they ask what's your lowest price, because they're not looking for the car, they're looking for the deal. But there's a buyer's and there's a seller's part of cars. There's a buyer and there's a seller. I obviously have a different standpoint as a seller. I'm not trying to sound like a hypocrite, but when I sell a car a little bit differently than when I buy a car. I'm the opposite. Obviously, I want to get the best deal and I want to get the most I can get. Two different things. When you're buying a car, though, negotiate with the person, see what their payoff is. So some people still have a loan on the car. If their loan is, let's say, $20,000, the value's, the trade-in value is 18. The dealership probably offer them 18, and you can give them 19 for it, and you can get the car for $1,000 above trade-in value, and you're still in a great position. Basically, the thing is, make offers on cars. See the value of the cars before you just make an offer. Don't buy something just because it's clean. You might just put yourself in a position where you'll screw yourself at the end. And there's also other buyers that you want to buy a car because it's clean and you want to have a nice car. Like my Corvette was really nice, really clean. I paid a little extra for it because it was like that. But if you want to get a good deal on a car, which there are cars out there, negotiate, see the value on them, make them an offer, be like, hey, look, this is where I'm coming from. Make them a firm offer. If you guys aren't close on value, and you can think in your head, what's the most you'll pay? Tell them this is the most I'll pay. If you want it, here you go. If not, all right, even if it's a couple $1,000s cheaper, maybe they'll take it. You never know their position. They never know if, the dealership could be offering someone $20,000 for a car, trade-in value is 22, and retail value is 28. You can be like, hey, listen, I'm not gonna give you $20,000 for it. I'm not gonna give you 28 for it, but I can give you 23 for it. And they're like, oh, I can't take 23. A dealership is offering me more, which some people are lying about it. But you can be like, hey, listen, $24,000 firm offer, take it or leave it. They will take it because the dealership offered them so much less. That was kind of the case on the Range Rover. When I bought it, I didn't really make a video on that car either. The guy was very wealthy and very well off, and they tried to take advantage of him. So he's like, I'm going to sell the car private party, and I bought it for $6,000 under retail value. Clean car, driven by his wife, one owner. So it was, that kind of case. You just have to search for the car, and you have to be able to negotiate with the person or talk to them and feel them out on it. Some dealerships actually offer a lot for cars because they offer more than trade-in value because they're selling another car, which they're going to make money on it. They're going to be making money on the new car, so they don't mind losing a little bit here, because if they're making $10,000 on the new car, which is actually a lot, but $10,000, they don't mind giving them $5,000 extra for the other car because they're still making $5,000. That's just some advice. If you guys have any questions, shoot it down below. I'll be sure to answer every single one of you guys. Besides that, subscribe, follow my Instagram. It's @Sinister Lifestyle. But I'm out of here. I got a plane to catch.